Please welcome Matt Damon.
They react to everybody like that.
This movie it's remarkable. A story I hadn't heard of. It follows the siege of Sarajevo.
Yeah.
And sort of the art community that sprang out of it, and also the ways in which U2 was sort of used as a touchstone to pull people together at that time. I wonder what compelled you to tell this story.
Well, I had the same reaction. Somebody told me the story, and it was so incredible. And we had this great director, Nanad Shine, who was from there and who came in and talked to us about it. And I just wanted to help get the story out there and get it, because it's such a beautiful story, and ultimately about light triumphing over dark, you know. So.
Yeah.
And these people in Sarajevo who were just so resilient, but used music as like an act of defiance and resistance in the middle of these horrible circumstances. And I just found it just a beautiful story. So I'm a producer on it. It's like a documentary. It's not my normal kind of thing to do, but it was something I wanted to put out there for people to see.
Yeah, I think it's remarkable in watching war-torn Sarajevo, and you see people they talk about dodging bullets and sniper fire so they can go listen to music in a basement. How like normalcy is so important to them, just to feel like they're connected to something. There's moments in there where it's like, I wish we could just like airlift Taylor Swift and drop her in Ukraine, just to sort of find some peace. It feels very modern in that way.
That might be the answer to everything, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. She can figure it out. Yeah, absolutely. But it is that you know, with the movie really covers all of these lives of these Sarajevans who really came to that conclusion, reflecting on life and what is life really, and actually it was worth risking their lives to go to gather so that they could listen to music or play music or just be together, and that bonded them and strengthened their community and that resilience. And you know, as Bono said in that little clip there, it was carrying on with their lives was a way of saying, you know, you're not beating us, you're not defeating, you will not take our lives from us. You can kill me, but you still won't take this from me. There's a great photo in there that we have of one of these punk rock drummers who lost his hand on the front lines, and there's a picture of him with his drumstick duct taped to his arm,
yeah.
In place of where his hand was, and he's playing like death metal, like, yeah. Come on, you know, like you're not going to take music away from me, you know, and it's just a beautiful. The stories are really incredible, and the people that we got a lot of footage from the Sarajevans who were there, and so you know, there's a wedding in the middle of like all these real moments that were really happening amidst this siege.
I think they sort of articulate that with the wedding, the scene in the wedding. Under all of this chaos, and again, it's hard to watch this and not see the images you're seeing on news as well, but then to see people go through a wedding, walking through war-torn areas and just finding those moments of joy, and you really see joy as an act of resistance in those moments.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
This movie also follows, again, this U2 concert in Sarajevo and sort of the conversation around U2 a little bit, and they're sort of looked at in some ways as a way that art can shine through. It can find a beacon for people, a way out. I'm curious, as an artist yourself, what were touchstones for you? Clearly, you didn't grow up in war-torn Boston, from my understanding. but I'm wondering, as an artist and a creator, like finding those touchstones that make you feel connected to something larger, what do you see when you watch and produce a film like that?
Well, I feel, look, I mean, I was in Australia last year looking at cave art that was 18,000 years old, and just that very human impulse that we have to tell stories to each other. And it's a way to kind of tell somebody another perspective, right? And if you know, for filmmaking, if you can put people in other people's shoes, that builds empathy and compassion. And as you know, Ed says in that, yeah. there really are these legitimate dark forces that are trying to divide us, and you see that a lot in politics. You see that a lot, and what art and music and film does, hopefully, is it's a bulwark against that, and an attempt to kind of bridge those divides and keep these communities together.
Do you feel tension as somebody as a creator and a producer? Like, we're in such partisan times, such political times, and selling political ideas is not the easiest sell as it used to be. People don't want to go near that as far as producing things that might have a larger political agenda. But you also are balancing having a platform and such a difficult time. Like, what do you see as you are moving forward and making things? How do you see the art that you want to produce and to be a part of?
Well, I think you want, whatever it is you're making, your heart has to be in it, and you have to feel like it's, look, even if it's a movie that isn't overtly political, if it's about building understanding about the, if you can watch a movie that has no relation to your life and be affected by the characters, then that's one little small bit of evolution, and we're bombarded by all of the, you're forced to sit through it because you got to write jokes about it. But, but it really is kind of an assault on your senses, and it's constantly telling you that we're different and we're divided and we're split, and I think movies like this and other films can kind of call bullshit on that idea. Mm-hmm. Say we're actually a lot closer than we think, or than we're told. Yeah.
There's a final quote in this movie that's a poignant one. They wonder whether we need that concert more today than we needed it in '97.
Yeah, that was one of the Sarajevans said that, which was really, and that's why Nenad decided to close the movie with it, because you do see a lot of parallels to all over the world to what was happening there. And so again, it ultimately is really an uplifting movie because it's beautiful to watch, these people and what they did and how they overcame their situation. The band and incidentally, the band was they were reluctant at first just because they didn't want to make a U2 movie. They said, no, we don't want to. We were like, no. We're going to put the Sarajevans in the center of this, and that's when they gave us all of this footage. And the concert at the end that they play it was the first time that 50,000 people gathered, and they were on different sides of this conflict, and they gathered and just listened to music together. And the movie's called Kiss the Future because Bono, when he started this concert, he grabbed the microphone and he said, "F the past, kiss the future." And so that's why we call the movie Kiss the Future, because that was the, yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful movie.
Thanks.
I knew they made more now than ever before. Kiss the Future is now available to stream exclusively on Paramount+. Matt Damon.